Hello, my friends and viewers, and welcome to another episode of Battleground Tactics. Why can I not change? There we go. This is episode 8 of the series, and the last Battleground that I have yet to cover, Eye of the Storm. This one was released in the Burning Crusade, excuse me, I believe when it launched. I wasn't really around back then, I hadn't played WoW yet. But it's a little combination between base control and capture the flag. Now, that's not to say that it's balanced around those two game mechanics. It's mostly base control because having one base advantage will override any amount of flag running for the most part. So, I mean, the flag running, I wouldn't say it's there for a distraction, but it's certainly not as imperative as defending bases. A couple people have been telling me, Angus, sometimes fighting on the roads is a good idea if you have good coordination and heals. And yeah, I failed to mention that's true if you have a coordinated group. What I'm doing here is basically random. Well, I have been doing random battlegrounds. This one I got 5 people from my server in the group, which happened to be very good. Well, a few of them are really good players. 1 second. Yeah, they're great players, so I imagine this will be kind of one-sided. But if you're doing a rated battleground, I've yet to try those out. By all means, the strategy will vary, but in general, if you're doing random pugs, pickup groups, fighting on the roads, especially in this map, is not a good idea, because all the time you spend away from these plateaus, which are the land masses that the bases are on, is time spent you could be capturing bases and getting more points, and also preventing your allies from having points. Alright, so let's get this one underway. By the way, I mentioned last episode that I wanted Blizzard to make a Dota-based battleground. 1 second. And that was some people seem to really like that idea, and I honestly think that's something they should do. I might write them an email or something. There's no copyright on those certain game mechanics. Certainly the name is, but yeah, that would be awesome. So anyways, let's get this party started, shall we? I'm going to attack Fell Reaver Ruins. This is the Horde should control this off the start. You can see my team is fighting down there a little bit, not in range of the base capture here. I'm gonna take out this warlock who thinks he's all sneaky, trying to snipe my teammates. By the way, other people have been asking me, Angus, demo warlocks are so good against Pharaoh. What do we do? Will you please make a time-lapse duel? Yeah, I plan to. I know a demo warlock who wants to make a time-lapse duel with me, and I'll do that at least within the next couple weeks. So yeah, the biggest problem with demo warlocks, holy smokes, not a good idea to engage there. Demo warlocks, they have that demonology form where they turn into a demon, and they can literally take damage more than any tank in the game. I don't understand why it's like that. They already have, okay, so my friend who wants to do the TLD, he has over 50,000 armor in his demo form. I have 31,000 in bear form. So his physical defense, damage reduction against physical damage is over 90%. That's the reason Pharaohs and Warriors struggle so much with them, is because when they do that, it's like a bubble. You just can't really stop them. It doesn't matter if you berserk or what. So there are ways to beat them, and I do want to make a video for that, so stay tuned. However, I don't think I've ever said that Shadow Priests and Warlocks are the hard counter to Pharaohs. They always have been. The way that Blizzard tried to rectify that is by giving Pharaohs Berserk immunity that fears. And that turns out that when your Berserk is active, you have pretty steep advantage against them. Anyways, looks like we are in the lead here. We got base control for 2.5 bases. the Horde is going to need to make an aggressive maneuver if they hope to stay in this game, because a 3-to-1 ratio, you're always going to lose. It doesn't matter if you're capturing the flag or not. That's just how it is. So it's not like Warsong Gulch or anything like that. It's more about just coordinating as a team. Heals are very important in this Battleground. God, there's my favorite stun. That Death Knight crap, where they freeze you for 8 seconds. I would be okay with that if it wasn't an AoE freeze. And they can literally freeze an entire raid for 8 seconds. And I just don't see the purpose for that. There are a lot of things you'll hear me talk about in WoW PvP that I don't like, because the nature of the game is, I mean, part of the reason it's so popular is because it's always changing. People stay interested because they never can predict what's coming next. That's just part of why it's so great. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, imbalances are what make the game fun, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's definitely something I would say that needs some revision. That Death Knight stun. Wow, that Feral just got blown up. And the demo form really needs to be more friendly against physical DPS classes. Rogues can kind of handle it because they do some magic, same with Reds. And it doesn't really help that much against a caster, but against certain classes it's just preposterous what they're able to do. So it looks like we have a pretty big battle here. Of 6 versus 6 maybe. And there's a Horde healer right there. He's my new target. Holy Paladin. Holy Paladin are always fun to fight because they don't have any HOTS. So it always comes down to the game of interrupts, which is always a good test of your reflexes. I enjoy it. Not like other classes where there's simply nothing you can do to stop them from healing themselves. So this guy, he's definitely a little bit skilled, I would say. Able to distract me from killing his friends, but while I'm doing this to him, he's not really able to heal his allies, in which case it gives my guys a chance to take them out. But it looks like that was an unsuccessful attempt there. That's okay, because we still have a lead, and technically they don't have any bases. So this rogue is, he's feeling a little zealous, and he wants to see what he can do. Unfortunately for him, that Resto Shaman there is fairly indestructible. He's a buddy of mine, an arena partner, Sinartha. Resto Shaman, man, their heals are not as great as the other classes, but their survivability is noticeably greater, even compared to a Holy Paladin. They're so hard to kill. So they make great pocket healers, which is kind of what's going on here. I kind of asked him to hook me up with some heals. So what we're doing right now, fighting on this road, is completely unproductive because we have these two players up here, which are fighting for this base, and where I need to be is aiding my ally there. Of course, getting chain feared and stunned is preventing me from doing that. But the more players from either faction that are on this plateau here at any given time are the ones that are going to be taking ticks towards capturing the base. So if there's 2 people fighting in the base compared to 2 alliance fighting compared to 1 horde, the alliance will eventually capture the base. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. If you have to face a set of players in Eye of the Storm, try your best to do it on the plateaus, because ultimately, if you can get to the position we're in right now where they're 4-capped, they have to spawn up here on this big rock. Most of them are going to be taking fall damage because they're careless. So until they can take a base back, their entire team will spawn up here, in which case it is okay to fight on the roads because you just pick them off. Like this. There's a Holy Paladin over there, but if you can keep them contained in this area, they just can't. They can't recapture a base because they can't get by you. So I think that's something that definitely needs to be revised. Perhaps make it the spawn points an elevator or something so it lowers down after the game begins. So you don't have to jump off there and you can coordinate with your team better. Because the way it is right now, if you get 4-capped in Eye of the Storm, it's basically game over. as you can see what's kind of happening to them right now. They're only going to last a few more seconds. But yeah, I mean, Eye of the Storm is a fun battleground. Sometimes it will last a really, really long time. You'll get teams that just go 2v2, maybe 2 bases versus 2 bases, and then struggle in the middle for a flag cap. And yeah, that's fun, but it's not the way you win. This guy's over here casting mind spikes, being a total jerk. A similarity, part of the reason I'm talking about Shadow Priests and Demon Warlocks being able to counter Ferals really well is because they have Disperse, which is a counter to Berserk. Completely nullifies a Berserk. And also the Demonology form, which also is a complete counter to the Berserk. So people complaining about Blizzard saying, oh, the fear immunity from Berserk is too strong, they're unbeatable, they can beat every class, including the ones we designed to be their hard counter. And all that really means is Shadow Priests and Warlocks don't understand their class well enough, because if they did, they would be able to take you down while you're using Berserk fairly easily. But I've talked about in the past how Feral does need to be revised. I've been criticizing a bunch of other classes without saying that Feral does need some work, and I'm going to release a video soon about that, because it's just one of those things that people won't stop talking about. So I hope you enjoyed that episode 8 that wraps up all the Battlegrounds for this series. Before I start duplicating any on my in a Feral spec, I'm going to put out either Resto or Frost, and before that happens I'm going to start with some other content. So enjoy that. It wasn't very long, but it was a pretty good display of proper tactics. And I will see you guys next time. Have a terrific day. Bye bye.